I cut all 6 front pattern pieces, arranged them in a stack, and prepared the stack of standard lining patterns for the corset. There is no change on the central face piece, piece number 1, when overlaid central patterns of the face and the lining are similar. Thus, there are no alterations in the central piece of the cup. We take the middle pieces of the face and the lining, piece number 2, and there were some alterations on the middle piece of the face. I overlay the middle patterns of the face and the lining, and on the lining pattern, I trace alterations I had made earlier on the face pattern. I also prolong the cup joining line. Now I take the cup patterns of the lining, pieces number 7 and number 8. On the side piece of the cup, piece number 8, there is a line, which joins this pattern piece with the curve line of the middle face piece of the corset. I place the middle front pattern of the corset face over the side piece of the cup lining and draw on the cup pattern the same alteration I made on the middle piece of the face. Please remember, the middle front piece of the corset face contains seam allowance. Thus, in order to determine the modified line of the side cup, I need to shift the seam allowance 1.2 centimeters from the middle front curve drawn on the cup. Here I have a new joining line, shifted by 0.5 centimeters toward the center. The pattern of the side front piece, piece number 3, remained unchanged from the curved line. I place the side front piece of the corset face over the side cup piece and draw an upper edge line. On the upper edge of the cup, a bend occurs due to alterations for 0.5 centimeters of the clip toward arm's eye measurement. Please bear in mind that we have an additional 0.5 centimeters on the side cup of the lining, where the joining line between the side and the middle pieces with the curve line is shifted. In order to reduce the side cup of the lining by 0.5 centimeters, you can cut the pattern along the new joining line, shift it by 0.5 centimeters, and glue it together. I draw a graceful line of the upper edge of the side cup piece. Now I start altering the side front piece of the corset lining, piece number 3. The pattern of the side front pieces was scaled up. Thus, I place the front pattern over the lining piece and draw the new modified side seam line and the upper and bottom edges. It is important, and please remember, the pattern of the side front piece of the corset face contains seam allowances, but the side lining piece does not have seam allowances on its upper edge. Thus, the height of the lining piece is changed. We retract 1.2 centimeters equal to the seam allowance on the upper edge of the side piece of the corset lining. This is how the altered pattern of the side lining pattern looks now. We have finished alteration of the lining front pieces. Now we switch to the back pieces. Certainly you remember that the alterations in the side front seam were made on the back curves. We take the same steps with the side back piece, piece number 4. We place the side back piece of the face over it, combine and outline. We should remember that there is no seam allowance of 1.2 centimeters along the upper edge of the lining side piece. When combining the patterns of the middle back pieces of the face and the lining, piece number 5, we take into account that the alterations on the middle back pieces of the face were made along curves from both sides. So we combine the common points of the pieces, for instance, crossing points of seam allowances. Next, we draw the new curves on the middle back piece of the lining. We need to remember that there is no seam allowance along the upper edge of the lining pattern piece. Next, we outline the ready pattern. The patterns of the central pieces of the face and the lining are almost identical, piece number 6, as we have not made any alterations along the central line, but the curve line is changed. I overlay the patterns and trace the new curve line onto the back pieces of the lining. Thus, we have a new set of patterns for the face and the lining of the corset based on the measurements of my client. To revise our knowledge, we will review one more example using the measurement of an imaginary client in our next tutorial.